All right, guys, this is going to be another Total Gym leg workout, and this one I'm also be utilizing those loop-style resistance bands. I know I keep plugging and talking about these loop-style resistance bands. I just think they're really beneficial. They open up so many doors, especially with leg workouts. This workout definitely kicked my butt. I did this a few days ago, and I'm still feeling it. I would say it's more of a, literally kicks your butt. It's more of a glute-focused workout with the legs. That's not intentionally. I started doing some exercise and chaining them together, and I really realized they really target your glutes. I'll put timestamps down below, put links in the description box. I'll have that same kind of countdown meter that signifies when an exercise is going to start to really make this a follow-along workout. You guys can see here I'm just transitioning. I'm still not used to kind of that middle pulley, so bear with me on that. On this first circuit, I stuck with the same format as well. 3 circuits, 2 exercises in each circuit. Minimal rest period for that rep range of like 12 to 20. I was kind of shooting for 20 for a lot of exercises. As we're starting here, you can see I got that big squat stand, which I keep talking about. I link that down below as well. If you don't have a big squat stand, I'll link an off-brand one that attaches to most Total Gym models. Someone even suggested having someone weld it if you have a Leader Ultimate Bodyworks. In my opinion, that might be worth it because there's a lot of exercise that just feel 10 times better utilizing a bigger squat stand. So that is an option if you have something smaller like the Leader Ultimate Bodyworks. Although if you don't, I mean, you can still get by with it. On this particular exercise, I've shown this and demonstrated this a lot. This is one of my favorite leg exercises to do. There's a number of different ways you can attach bands. I always just like holding the bands over my head or just right in front of me just for ease of use, kind of transitioning exercises. So that's up to you how you want to attach them. You can attach them down below if you want to. I just prefer it this way, but if you have bad shoulders, you don't want to hold on to something, you definitely can get creative and kind of loop it down below as well. As you guys can see, I got the pull-up bars attached for this circuit because after this, we're going to transition right into another exercise. We're going to utilize these pull-up bars. This next exercise, and I just basically progress with incline on this one, also resistance bands. But this next exercise, I don't go too high with each set because this is hard enough to get 20 repetitions. But I don't think I've really seen this. I haven't seen many Total Gyms videos, to be honest with you guys, but I see a lot of people. I've seen this showcase somewhere where people sit up and then they kind of flex their knee inward. I only kind of showcase that fits me and stuff that I really like. So if you guys don't like this, I can't promise it, but I think this one just feels really good for most people. It definitely isolates the hamstrings really well. I just prefer this hamstring curl versus seated up and using my handles. You can do laying down, but this is just another version that I've just started messing around with that I like a lot. I'd also say it even kind of works the glutes a little bit too. It kind of engages them as you're kind of pulling in with this and this kind of face up on the Total Gym. So try this out. It might feel a little uncomfortable maybe on your heels. I thought it was bearable to get to 20 repetitions. It was hard though, definitely in the second and third set getting to 20 repetitions. So if you guys don't like this, I would just swap out a different hamstring exercise. Otherwise, I thought this was definitely doable. And then as these kind of sets progress in this first circuit, all I'm really doing here, all I'm really focusing on is just upping the intensity, gradually to kind of get a rep range to get not really to failure, but just up the intensity where 20 repetitions is kind of like right where I kind of feel like, okay, that's enough. I don't really like to go to failure. I've said that a lot of times in videos, but that's kind of what I'm shooting for in this one. And so this one you can get by with just raising the incline and then kind of jacking up the bands. But like I said, when you get to the hamstring curl, you'll see, especially with me, when I get to that third set, I don't go full bore with that one. I kind of put it moderate because it was hard enough to get to 20. I believe I even kind of paused that set as well. So hopefully you guys like this first circuit. I will see you guys in the start of the second circuit. Thanks for watching if you got this far. And again, I'll see you guys in second circuit 2. All right, as we're approaching circuit 2, you're basically going to need a resistance band for both exercises in this one. And this may look awkward to you, and maybe I think it's somewhat dependent on me having this bigger squat stand that I started getting in this side lying position. I just like the way it felt. You can do a traditional kind of laying on your back and go a single leg if you want to. You can even sit up on your butt if you want to do it this way. I just started messing with kind of angles and the way I strap the bands on. I think even on the second and third set, I modified it shortly, a little slightly. But I just really like the way this feels. You notice I'm really trying to maximize that depth by getting my knee really above the hip. So as I'm pressing through, I'm making sure my foot is somewhat flush flat on that pad as much as possible, but I'm really driving through the hamstrings, quads, but definitely the glutes is what I'm really kind of focusing on as I'm driving through that. You can even see my hand there kind of gripping the band throughout the range of motion here. I'm just grabbing a little bit more tension. Like I said before in the previous exercise, the previous squat, you could loop this around and get a little more creative and find that angle works good for you. To me, I like the way this setup with the band is because I can just go right into the exercise, modify on the fly, and honestly, to get to 20 repetitions, I don't think you need a whole lot of tension anyways, so this to me was fine. If I want a little more, I'm going a little less. I just kind of grab it as I'm going. So it might look awkward, but I thought this exercise just felt really good in general. So once you kind of get 20 repetitions on both legs, you're basically going to be transitioning into another glute-centric exercise that, in my opinion, these two back-to-back really kind of kill the glutes a little bit. I mean, to me, they were on fire, especially on this second exercise. When we get into it, you're going to double wrap the bands. Again, you can wrap this a number of different ways. I think I had one big band, and you don't have to use the biggest band possible, but I'm going to loop around both bands at the bottom of the machine, as you guys can see here, and I'm going to get to a really low bottom position in here, which might be easier said than done for some people. So this is the heaviest band I have with these undersun bands, which I like a lot because of the way they kind of give as you extend the band. But I'm just basically pressing and more focusing on a bridge, as you guys can see here, with a slight kind of pause at the top to really hold that. But I'm aiming for 20 repetitions. Even as this is one of those exercises, as I started, I'm like, oh man, I regret doing this because this was tough. Not that I don't like working hard, but it was a little too grueling for me to get to 20 because I know in my head, okay, I'm gonna give you guys 20 reps for this circuit. If it was me, if I wasn't recording this, I probably would have stopped at 10 to 12 and called it a day. Maybe done some extra sets, but so that's up to you. You guys don't have to do a full 20. You can just adjust the band tension. But once I committed to that full band, I just left it there. I don't like the same thing with the other one. I don't think I up the incline too much. That's not really the big deal. To me, it's just at these sets kind of added up together with the added tension that you're going to see here at the start of circuit 2 with that previous exercise. So pick and choose and do these things how you guys want. Try and stick to 20 as that kind of goal weight if you guys want to. I'm talking out loud here. I'll shut up in a second, but I'm just kind of laying on my back on this one. Notice I'm not laying sideways, and I started to kind of like this angle a little bit more than I did on the first one, but they both felt pretty good. But again, I'm just trying to maximize that depth as much as possible. If you have a Leader Ultimate Bodyworks, if you have a smaller squat stand, this may mean basically sitting up more on your butt and doing a resistance band, tighten it up a little tighter, and then essentially getting down low as much as you can while you're in a seated position versus laying down. Because you're laying down, you can put your leg up a little higher, so that's kind of the advantage you have. So that's it with circuit 2. This to me was kind of like the climax circuit, although circuit 3 isn't much easier after you did this one. But after this one, you're over the hump once you finish this circuit. So I'll see you guys after this third set, and I'll talk to you guys at the start of circuit 3. All right, guys, we're finishing up circuit 2, and as we're doing this, you know, so I'm taking some breaks, but then I'm also going to be going in kind of full bore trying to get this over with. So that's why I'm kind of going fast. I was just getting tired. I want to get this last set done with this exercise. I didn't mention that your lower back might be feeling it. That's okay. I mean, you're using a lot of these little erectors in the back, and the lower back is just working a lot more than you've probably been used to if you haven't done this exercise in a while. So that's okay. And even it's going to carry over to this exercise. I'm not sure what the full time limit's going to be on this one once I kind of add the full breaks in the video. But my point is, definitely feel free to pause the video, take some breaks, stretch out. I had some stretches where I was just kind of holding on the machine, let my back round out to get a little bit of a stretch. But the start of this third circuit is just meant to be kind of like an easy circuit, an easy transition. This is just that glute kickback. I'm trying to find my balance a little bit on this machine to kind of, you know, get my bearings. I'm not used to this. Weider Ultimate Bodyworks had the pull-up bars on top, and that was easier to kind of hold on to. This one I have to get a little more creative, but I just slipped my toe right through the stock handles that came with the Total Gym. In my opinion, I like these stock handles. They were good with that. Not too difficult. My Weider Ultimate Bodyworks feels a little bit harder when I do this exercise. This was a little bit easier. I start messing with just different ways to hold on to it from the first time of me doing it on this particular machine. So you can go slower. But again, it should feel a little bit easier, but not too easy, because based on everything else you did, your butt probably needs a little break from that last circuit we did. So you can raise this, you can go, you know, slower, you can hold some pauses at the top. I was just trying to get through it. I want to make this a quicker workout for you guys and also for myself when I recorded it this day. After we do this circuit, or after this exercise, we're going to be transitioning into an exercise that I think is a little deceiving. You can do it a number of different ways. It's just a different way of kind of utilizing the Total Gym, but also some resistance bands. This next exercise is coming up. You don't necessarily even have to use the Total Gym. You can go from the ground, although I do think it'll be a little bit easier and kind of hits the glutes at a different angle. So I'm putting this at an incline. In retrospect, on sets 2 and 3, you'll see me kind of lower the incline a little bit. I think it works better if you kind of lower it a tiny bit. I'm just wrapping, taking a moderate band tension, and I'm just going to kind of doing like upright, kind of an incline lunge. I'm leaning in and pressing off. This means that this exercise isn't going to be as difficult because you're on this incline. However, it does require a little more extra stability in the legs to kind of keep yourself stable. So if you want more of a stable base, go to the ground and do it, and just do a kind of a resistance band lunge, a drop step lunge with holding these resistance bands. I just like this because I thought it engaged the glutes a little bit more. I'm kind of leaning in and kind of digging off and kind of pushing off my flat foot, and then again engaging my glutes the same way I did on that single leg exaggerated kind of single leg squat we did in circuit 2. So it looks easy. You can make this easier if you want to by lowering the tension. It's also not that difficult too, because as you're leaning, it's really only hard for about the middle portion of the press, and especially if it's on a higher incline, the tension's already a little bit easier. The lower you go, there's a little bit more tensions. That's why I said the lower tension just feels a little bit harder. It also adds you guys a little more stability and feels a little bit more natural. So it's up to you. Choose an angle that works for you, but what you're really focusing on here is pushing off that flat foot and then digging in with your butt. So you can see me kind of fiddling a little bit, kind of finding that neutral spot. What I did was, when first time I did this exercise, I messed with it a few times before. I was just messing around the machine a day prior, and so I remembered it. I'm like, oh, this would be an awesome exercise to kind of throw in this circuit. So you may or may not think so. If you don't like this one, just go single leg. But that's it with this circuit, guys. Hopefully you guys like this workout. Hopefully you found it beneficial. If you guys do like this stuff, you guys want to see more of it, please like and or subscribe. Always helpful for comments. Like I said, I'll see you guys in the next workout. Thank you.